Hello everyone, welcome to another weekly outlook video, and as usual we're going to start with DXY. So last week DXY, this is what we wanted to see. Price give us this bullish move after tagging this daily fair value gap, and as you can see we opened the week with a gap and had this bullish move. So let's see what price is likely to do this coming week. Before we proceed, guys, starting October 18th, we have classes for beginners and intermediate traders. So beginners, we're covering Forex trading from scratch and also ICT SMC foundation. Then intermediate and advanced, now we cover everything ICT SMC, starting from foundation ICT SMC all the way to advanced concepts. So if you like the way I analyze the market and you want to know how I use my analysis for entries and all that, this bootcamp is for you. So let's start with the weekly time frame. So on the weekly, we can see we have this order block that was left behind by price, and I can see this buy side liquidity. This is the first potential drove liquidity that I want to see price go for. So on the daily time frame, we have this as an order block. We have this fair value gap here, and also our weekly order block is right here. So we are likely to get a retracement to this daily fair value gap, which you can see is also in line with this daily order block. That would be nice before we get our bullish move. And also if we take our fib tool and measure from this low to this high here, you can see actually 50% of this range is around here. So this is a good place that the market could retrace to before giving us our bullish moves. But again, guys, we still have this order block. If we violate this, there's a high probability that the market might come for this, might retrace all the way here before finally we get our bullish continuation. So that is what I'm watching this week. I just want to remind you guys that we still have a US government shutdown, and on Friday, Trump threatened to introduce some tariffs on China. So there's a lot of trade war going on between China and US. So anything is possible. I just want you to uh, learn to be flexible with buyers, especially once price violates our higher time frame key levels. So let's look at USDCHF. Last week, this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see these bullish moves after price had already tagged this fair value gap and this fair value gap and this daily order block. And this was our target. And as you can see, that's exactly what price did. So let's see what price is likely to do this coming week. So let's look at the weekly. On the weekly, you can see we have this order block, and that's all we see. So let's move to the daily time frame. So let's look at the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, we have this daily fair value gap. As you can see, price tagged it on Friday, and we also have this weekly OB here. So there's a high probability that we were likely to retrace to this weekly order block and then get our move, or use this to get these are fair value gap to get our bullish move. But I'm watching this weekly OB. There's a high chance. So if we take our fib tool and measure from this low to this high, you can see actually 50% of the range is right here. So our current daily fair value gap is actually below the 50% of the range. Yeah, so I'm watching, those are the key levels I'm watching for this week. As for target, guys, we have all these buy side liquidities. This is a buy side liquidity. This is a buy side liquidity. There's so much relative equal highs here. Actually, I would call this a trend line. This is a trend line liquidity. So yes, all these are liquidity that the market will go for. So now let's look at GBPUSD. Last week, this is what we wanted to see price do, and exactly that's what price did. It delivered so well. So let's see what price will do this week, starting with the weekly time frame. As you can see, we have an order block that has been created here. So this is our weekly OB, and this here is an external range liquidity. If you see, we made so if you see here, you can see we made this low, we had this retracement. So now lower low. So this external range liquidity acts as good drove liquidity for price. So let's look at the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, so this is our weekly OBs right here. So I want to see price use this weekly OB to push price lower. And as you can see, also we have some gaps here. So this is a volume imbalance, a very, very tiny gap there. So that's a volume imbalance. And also, of course, we have an can use this as an order block, which was already tagged by price on Wednesday. But yeah, so that's what I'm watching for GBPUSD. And of course, this external range liquidity looks so good. I want to see price get here. So let's look at EURUSD. And as you can see, last week EURUSD also delivered so well. So let's see what price is likely to do this week. So EURUSD weekly time frame, we have an order block here. And I'm watching this sell side liquidity here. This is an external range liquidity. So if you move to the daily time frame, we have this daily order block and a weekly order block. So this is where price is at the moment. So we're likely to retrace to this daily order block. Then we get our bearish moves, or we tag this weekly OB before getting our bearish move. So in short, all this region here is important because the market is likely to get to any region there. So let's see if we get our fib tool. You can see 50% is around here. So yes, so this is a premium zone. Anything above 50% is premium, anything below is discount. When the market is bearish, the market likes to retrace to premium zones before we get our bearish move. So already 50% is right here. So yeah, so those are the key levels I'm watching really. So let's look at yen basket. Yen basket, you can see we have on the weekly, we had this weekly fair value gap, and as you can see, it's always pushing price lower anytime we target. So, and already price has tagged this sell side liquidity. So at the moment, we just have this order block here. So let's look at the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, you can see we have this fair value gap here. This is our weekly OB, and our daily order block starts here, which is literally at the same region. So if you look at this daily fair value gap, let's get a fib tool and see the 50%. So 50% of this fair value gap is right here, so which is in line with our weekly order block. So yeah, we're likely to get a retracement to this weekly order block, and of course also daily order block starts here. So all these consecutive bullish candles, they form the daily order block. So we're likely to get, so around this price region here is sensitive, and we get more bearish moves. So again, guys, we have this weekly fair value gap. As long as price does not violate this weekly fair value gap, then we're anticipating bearish moves for the yen basket, which means pairs that are negatively correlated with the yen basket, like GBP, JPY, Euro JPY, we're anticipating bullish moves. So that is what I use yen basket for, because yen basket is the yen. The same way we use DXY for dollar. So GBPUSD is negatively correlated with DXY. So let's look at GBPJPY. So on the weekly time frame, this is what we have, and we have a gap here. We opened the week with a huge gap for yen pairs, and yeah, so that's what I'm watching on the weekly. And of course, this buy side liquidity here is a good point that the market can go for if the market is still willing to give us more bullish prices. So if you look at the daily time frame, you can see the gap is even bigger. So we start here to here. So this right here is the gap that we have, and now we can see this right here forms an order block, because these are consecutive bearish candles, and then we gapped above it, and literally we are closing above these consecutive bearish candles. So this here is the start of an order block. So if we take a fib tool and measure from this low to this high here, you can see 50% of the range is right here. So wait, so first of all this is a gap and a fair value gap. So gap and fair value gap, we mark them all as one PDRA, so which means we have it all the way here. So all this is one PDRA. So yes, we want to see price retrace. We might get a retracement to this daily order block before we get our bullish moves, and of course we'll have covered is it 50% of the gap? Let's see. But if we count all of it with the fair value gap, let me get this out. So we can see 50% of this gap with the fair value gap is right here, but just the gap as a gap alone is there. Okay, it's right here. So yeah, I'm just watching. So these levels here is important, and I'm watching to see. So these are the places, this is the level I'm anticipating that we are likely to get a reaction from and get more bullish moves. But again, guys, remember, our key levels, our PD areas, they're just maps. When price violates, especially our higher time frame key levels, that should make you want to review the bias and see exactly what the market could be doing. So let's look at gold. Gold, as usual, it's been bullish, and on the weekly time frame, we have been leaving behind breakaway gaps. We've been leaving behind breakaway gaps. So we have this fair value gap. Chances are high we are going to leave this also as a breakaway gap. So let's look at the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, we have this fair value gap here. So there is a possibility that the market might retrace to this fair value gap before we get a bullish move, or we'll just open the week and we get the bullish moves, because you can see gold has been really bullish. We're at all-time highs, so this also is a possibility. So that's what I'm watching this week. So let's look at NAS 100. So NAS 100, as you can see, this is what we had, and we have this weekly fair value gap here, and we have this order block right here. So weekly order block. So I'm anticipating we are likely to tag this fair value gap before we get our bullish moves, or we might tag this weekly OB before we get our bullish move. However, if price violates this weekly order block, then I'll be expecting bearish moves for NAS 100. But right now, NAS is at all-time highs. So you've seen when price is at all-time highs, you really don't want to be counter trending it. Just follow the trend. And right now, at the moment, the trend is bullish. So I just want to follow the trend. So if you look at the daily time frame, again, so this is our weekly fair value gap is right here. Our weekly order block is right here. So that is all I'd prepared for this week. I wish you all the best in your trading. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. I'll see you in the next video.